This is episode 5. We're so excited to be back. I feel like it's definitely been a little while, definitely months. I don't even know when was the last episode, but it's been a minute. And so I definitely feel like we owe a little bit of some life updates so that you don't think that we just decided to like stop doing this. This was definitely like a little hiatus, but we are so excited and happy to be back. So I'll let Ollie give his life updates first, and then I'll give mine after.
What's up, everyone? Glad to be back on what is probably one of my favorite podcasts of all time. Um, and in terms of life updates, I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio, um, the place commonly referred to by movie makers and book writers and songwriters as hell. You've probably heard of it. Um, it's pretty fun out here. But a lot of internal growth because you cannot externalize outside of the house because it's so cold already. Um, but and I have something maybe I write. So like I've been writing a lot. So it's like there's a lot of writing that's gonna come out for certain, absolute. Am I confident? Yes, of course. I'm glad you asked. Um, But as for life updates, that's you guys are all like updated on my life.
There we go. Ollie's life updates. I just like wanted to ease back into this and like not be like immediately like, okay, we're back. Here we go. Intense topic. Let's get into it. You know what I mean? Like we're people too, guys. I know y'all idolize us and put us on but we're people too, just like you guys. Obviously joking. Okay, anyways, so my life updates. I don't think I've actually talked about it on the podcast, and Ali has known for a long time, and I've posted about my social media, but I haven't brought it to this platform yet. So if you didn't know, I'm engaged and I'm getting
Woo!
married in 9 months, and I'm so excited. Me and my fiance are so excited. But yeah, we've been engaged for actually over a year, and it was private at first, but then we made it public like a couple months ago, and so now we can finally like publicly be excited about it because we were like internally excited about it for a long time, and now it's finally like, oh, we can like talk about it and be excited about it. But yeah, getting married in 9 months, very excited. I just finished my first semester of nursing school. I
Hell
have
yeah.
three more semesters before I can take like my license exam and all of that and then become a nurse, which is also very exciting. But that school is actually a big reason why we had to take this hiatus. Like, obviously, Ollie is going through a life changing thing. And, I'm getting married and I'm going to school and I'm not working right now, which is so crazy because I thought going to school and not working I would be like easier, but somehow it's like harder. Like school truly takes up like so much of my time to the point that I wasn't even able to do this. And it literally takes like an hour out of my day to do. But sometimes I don't even like have that much time with how much time school takes up. Like there's always something to do. But I love it. What can I say? I don't know. It'll get me somewhere one day, hopefully. But yeah. Oh, my birthday just happened. I'm
Happy
22.
birthday.
Thank you. I turned 22 on Thursday, and I don't feel 22, but like when I look in the mirror, I'm like, she's 22. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I'm like, yeah, I don't feel like I'm old enough to be 22, but I feel like I look like I'm 22. So that gets me somewhere. But yeah, Thursday I went to dinner with my family. It was great. And then Friday morning, me and my friends were like impulsively decided to go get tattoos because it was Friday the 13th and they do deals and everything. So I got a tattoo on Friday. I would pull up my sleeve, but I don't feel like it, so I'm not going to. And oh yeah, and then Friday my friends came over. I'm still like recovering from that. We went a little too hard, but it was still really fun. And then I was supposed to go to like a bar or a club for my birthday, like just to celebrate. But I was like, okay, wait. I was like, what if I recorded a podcast episode for my birthday? And I was like, oh my gosh, like that is such a fun way to celebrate my birthday because we haven't done it. And so it's special, you know, like, but we haven't done it in a while. And so I'm like, this will definitely be special to do. My birthday just happened. We can record it this weekend and it'll be part of my birthday celebration. And like, I had that thought and I was like, am I maturing? Like, I don't want to go to a bar, or a club. I'd rather just stay home and record a fucking podcast episode. Is my frontal lobe developing? Like, that's literally my thought process. And then 5 minutes later, I messaged you to see if we could do an episode this weekend.
I was like, of course. Um, Birthday gifts are always special, and I am glad I could give one of my best friends a special birthday gift and
Thank
hop
you.
on a podcast episode, of course.
Yes, definitely. And yeah, I'm so excited. Hopefully we can I don't go back to school till the 13th of January, so hopefully maybe we could do like one more before I go back to school because then once I go back to school I probably won't be able to like keep doing this, but this is such a nice like mental break in a way and like just to be able to get on here and like talk about things that like we're passionate about and like it's just a good unwinding time. Like and we don't get to see each other like hang out because you live so far. So yeah, this is definitely me guilt tripping you.
No, I get it. I
This is
get it on this.
definitely needed. It's a needed time. So do you want me to introduce our topic for today?
Yes, please.
Okay. So today, as per usual, this conversation is ongoing. I feel like it will never stop. But social media, per usual, that's usually what we're talking about. We're going to be talking about different aspects about it today. But, you know, we have this little theme going of social media. So, I actually wanted to talk about um like how recently I feel like social media has been like extremely focused on like looks. And I feel like that's so like obvious, like duh, like that's been happening for like a long time, but it's getting weird personally in my opinion. Like and this is like the biggest example I can think of off the top of my head and it's going to get controversial immediately is the the United Health CEO shooter, the guy that like assassinated the CEO of United Health. And like people were already making not jokes necessarily, but they were like, "Wait, why is he kind of like, you know, dot dot dot."
Hear
And I was
me
like, "Okay,
out.
no, that's literally what they were saying." And I was like, "I will hear you out. Like I will hear you out cuz I thought he was cute. Like I thought he was pretty handsome." But then it started getting weird. And when I say it was getting weird, um I don't even like know how to say this, but like people would post pictures of him and be like 5 inches soft, 8 inches hard,
Hey yo,
6 centimeter girth. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
what, bro? Irma, why?
No,
Why is that
literally.
their immediate thought?
I have no
He
idea. And
just
there's
killed
actually
someone.
thank you. And like I was like when they were like, "Oh, hear me out." I was there. I was ready for it. Like I was like, "Okay, yeah. Yeah, here I'm hearing you out." But then it got weird like that. And then someone posted a picture and you can find everything I'm talking about, you can find this on Twitter. So I'm not lying. Go look it up on Twitter. Someone put a picture of the guy, Luigi, I forgot his last name, but his first name's Luigi, had a picture of him blown up like onto their TV.
I don't like where that's going.
Okay.
I don't.
Okay. So it's just like this big picture of him on the TV and a toy of their choosing stuck onto the picture of of the shooter. I can't laugh about this. This is serious. This isn't funny. It's like it's funny how like out of pocket it is. Like that's how fun. Like that's why I'm laughing because it's extremely out of pocket. So yeah, big blown up picture of this Luigi guy and a certain toy suctioned onto the TV, acting as if it is this man's appendage. And like I'm like, when does it go too far? You know what I mean? Like,
There.
literally, I'm like, guys, where was the line? Because we passed it a long time ago. We passed it so long ago. Like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me right now? And like, what's wild is I don't think that the shooter would ever expect that this is the kind of impact he's having. You know, because all the stuff that like his manifesto and like the stuff that he's been saying, like it shows like he obviously did this for like reasons, you know what I mean? And he was trying to like send a message and like kind of bring like the general public together against, you know, healthcare and how fucked up it is in the United States and all of that. But then like people's reactions were like, damn, you're hot. And like that was it. Like nobody really, I feel like I didn't really see a lot of like populating happening. It was just like, wow, you're hot. And like that was literally it. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, are we so blinded by like looks and stuff like shit like that that we can't even like really sit down and have a conversation about like what is actually happening, you know?
Hmm. No, I get that. My hot take was that kind of like I guess it's like naive, almost optimistic, was that looks don't matter, but optics do. So like having someone attractive send a message ultimately brings more attention to the message. But like you just said, it's like the distraction. It's not hmm, it's not the route we want to go. Not
Yeah.
we. I have no quarrels with the capitalist system in which provides my means of living. Dot dot
dot
dot.
dot dot. I have to say
No,
that.
literally, legally, I'm bound.
Legally, that's how I feel. But then that kind of makes me want to ask, like, okay, if the shooter was subjectively like unattractive, like, then what would we have done? Like, say that he's crazy, probably. Say that, like, he probably didn't, like, have any reason to do it and that he's a crazy person and, like, throw him in jail. Because I feel like that's another thing, too, is I feel like this is getting so much news coverage. I mean, I don't, like, actively watch the news, but, like, at least on social media, like, I feel like every time I open my phone, it's always that. Like, it's kind of cooled down, like, the last, like, 2 days or, like, day or so, but I'm like, why is like a new picture of him drops like every fucking 10 minutes? And I'm like, this is so insane. Like, I don't know. It just feels very weird and like very pushed agenda type of thing. And it makes you think like, what is really happening?
You know what? You know what's actually really insane? Um,
Hmm.
like they were saying with the his manifesto. I didn't read it, but I saw someone like quote tweet it, and it was like, this is very obviously government style, and it's like, what if the whole oh he's hot is like that like
It might be because and I heard the same thing because like it was a letter. It wasn't his manifesto, I think, but it was like a letter that like started off immediately by thanking the like thanking cops basically and like thanking like members of the FBI and like stuff like that. Because he was like, I respect you and I respect what you do. And like that's literally how the letter starts off. And then he starts like going on about like his take like on other things basically. And someone made a comment that said like letters that have been recovered that thank the police have always been written by the police. Like historically speaking, they have figured out that like anytime there was a letter that was recovered and it was written by the suspect or whatever, it's been uncovered that it was always actually the police behind those things. And so I think that's really interesting. But yeah.
This whole thing stinks.
Yes, it does. And I feel like we could talk about it like for a whole episode, but I didn't gather enough information on it. I just more wanted to touch on the fact that that happened and all we cared about is I guess like what his penis looked like. I don't know. I mean, I wasn't necessarily worried about that, but like a lot of people were concerned. But that actually brings me to like
Did
the
they
next thing
find
I wanted
out?
to
No,
touch
I'm
on.
kidding. Sorry.
Bro, I I hope they're not that driven to find out because that's scary. That's scary. But that kind of transfers into like the other thing I wanted to talk about, which again, the overarching theme is like the fact that social media is like so surface level, so about like what people look like. And that was the first example. My next example is it's not necessarily about the looks thing, but it's definitely about like being on the surface type of thing. And it's I know you said like you hadn't really heard about this, but the woman that had sex with 100 people in one day. Oh my gosh, that's been all over my fucking social media also. And that was wild. And like I know like we had a conversation prior to this about it, but like I felt like I as a woman and as like a feminist, like I'm like happy women want to take back their sexual identity and like claim it for themselves and like feel like they truly have the choice of like how they want to live out like their sexual identity. And I respect that so much and I think not just women, but everyone should have like that choice, you know? Like, if you want to be a whore, basically be a whore. I don't care. Like, that's your choice. But it just like it fucked me up so bad because there's like the documentary about it, about the woman that had sex with 100 people in one day, and like some YouTuber decided to do a documentary about it when he heard about it, and so like what fucked me up, like I said, is like the day goes by, she did what she did, the interviewer sits down with her and starts asking her these questions, and she immediately starts crying. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, damn, like, I'm sorry. Like, I wish I could do something to help you, but like, it just literally like fucked me up so bad because I was like, okay, I guess she's doing what she wants to do, good for her. And then by the end of it, like, she was you could tell it definitely took a toll on her.
I'm with you on the whole like do like if that's all you, that's all you. But like
Mhm.
what was like the goal? Like if it were achievement, like was it worth it? And if it wasn't for achievement, then like why else? Because
Yes. And I think it was like she was trying to set like some kind of record, you know? But I just feel like and I know not everyone like feels this way about like a sexual relationship, I guess, but I feel like you're giving people access to you in that way and that can become like extremely draining, you know what I mean? And that could be extremely draining if you do it over weeks at a time, you know, much less doing it all in one day. Like holy shit. Like you know what I mean? Like I feel like the action is not just like physically draining, like just physically to your body, it is draining, but I feel like even mentally and emotionally, like it is draining. And so I don't, I think in her head, she was like, oh, I'm going to set this record. Because that was another thing too. She was already a sex worker prior to this. I don't think I mentioned that. Like she like does like online content and like all of that stuff. And so I think she in her mind felt like, oh, she's probably already slept with a lot of men and she does this for content anyways, and now she's gonna set a record. And I feel like to her it was just like all objective until like it became real, and she had not previously thought about like how it was gonna feel to process subjectively, you know what I mean, the situation and how she was gonna feel about it. And so I think that's why when the interviewer sat her down, like she seemed fine at first, but then like he starts asking her these questions and like you can immediately like see her eyes start welling up. and I couldn't watch it after that because I didn't watch any of the documentary, but even the little snippets, like I just can't. It feels like emotional torture on my end. Like I feel emotionally tortured that I'm watching this person like, you know, hurting and I can't do anything about it and I feel bad about it. But regardless, she's going for a new record, 1,000 men in one day. So it feels like the way that I feel is irrelevant anyways.
She's I can't for 1,000. It's like I don't under
I
I
don't get it
I w-
either.
I'd love to interview her. Like we should get her on the show.
She's from the UK, I'm pretty sure.
Mm, never mind.
Oh, never mind. Never mind. Never mind on that. Anyways, well, I feel like I've said everything I needed to say about that. Um, and I want to feel bad for her, but it feels a little hard to feel bad for her when
No, not when
all of
she's
that
going for a
happened.
thousand.
Literally, I'm like, now she's going for 1,000. I'm like, damn, like it really doesn't matter how I feel or what I think. So I'm just gonna shut up and probably not think about that anymore. And I really hope it
Until
doesn't cut until what?
no, shit, sorry. I keep interrupting you. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Just that I feel like I'm not gonna think about it until it comes back up like on my social media, and then it's gonna force me to think about it, and then I'm gonna be like, damn, what the what the hell is going on?
I was gonna say, wait, hold on. When she comes out with the thousand man documentary,
Mm-hmm.
that's gonna that'll be when it comes back. I I feel like I wasted time there. I'm sorry.
Well, I didn't even watch the 100 Men documentary. I just saw like snippets of it, and I just feel like if she does break the record of like 1,000 men, because I think it is some type of record, if she does break the record of 1,000 men, I feel like it will be in social media at some point. But like when it does hit social media, and if there is a documentary about it, I don't want to pay much mind to it because I feel like like I said, it doesn't really matter what I think or feel because she's doing her thing,
I think
whatever that is.
I think it Instagram is getting wild. Like the type of
Hmm.
stuff you could see on there scrolling casually.
True. That is true. I was thinking that last night. I'm like, what the fuck is this? What the hell is going on?
I don't it like it didn't used to be this way. And like same thing with like because like even Twitter, you can like generally like not like I mean like Twitter's ease of accessibility is different from anything Instagram is like capable of. So like
Yeah.
when you see it on Twitter, it's like all right, but like when you see it on Instagram, it's like okay, this is different. This is unnatural. This is not normal. So
Yeah.
like
No, I agree. And it's weird that it is that way. That you can find like extremely explicit like things on Twitter, not even just like talking about like sex content necessarily, but even like all sorts of other like type of content like gory, like gruesome things that like shouldn't really be allowed to be, in my opinion, be posted like on a social media platform, but they are. And not just that, but it's just like it's just on your page. Like it's just like on your feed. And it's
yeah,
just like what the hell? Like who put this here? Like
yeah,
oh my gosh. But you believe it because it's Twitter, you know? And then you go to Instagram, and if you were to see something like that on Instagram, you'd be like, what is this world coming to? Like, what the hell is going on?
I think I don't know. I feel like it like I think that's the one place where it like shouldn't belong.
Instagram? Yeah, that's interesting. Instagram should just be wholesome reels. We should just be laughing at reels on
Yes,
Instagram
bring
and
back
sharing cute pictures. That's all we should be doing on Instagram. Reels
yeah.
and cute pics. Well, going back to Twitter just for a second, since we're kind of on the topic, Um, some other trends I've been seeing on Twitter in regards to surface level, what you look like type things are these patterns of, I want to call them race wars, but I know like that is really dramatic to say. But it feels like a race war just on Twitter. And it started, in my opinion, it started with a tweet of a black person tweeted this like joke. It was supposed to be a joke of it basically says like Mexicans be like, how you know I'm Mexican? And then they like show a picture of like a very specific build. And I don't know if you can picture the build in your head, but I feel like, but I remember what the picture is, and I'm like, bro, like, I feel like anyone could be built like that. Like, literally anyone could be built like that. And I just feel like they wanted to single out, like, Mexican people for whatever reason. And like I said, this was a black person that tweeted it. And I'm not saying, like, oh, he shouldn't have tweeted it. He's black. Like, I never felt that way. But then, like, black people started like getting behind him. They were like, "Hell yeah, you're right. Like that's so true." And then Mexican people obviously like started like feeling some type of way back, you know? And so it's just like been black people and Mexicans on Twitter just like going at it. And so the Mexicans have been like trying to like get back at them. I don't know, by posting like cute pictures of themselves, like nice pictures of themselves, and been like hashtag built like a Mexican. But then like black people will be in their replies and like, girl, we know you bought that body. We see we see the fucking surgery scars and
That's
all this
actually
shit.
funny.
Yes, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, why does anyone care? Literally, like, why does anyone care this much? It's not that big of a deal. So then finally, an Indian person decided to chime in, and in someone's replies, you can tell I went like deep into this. Like, I'm like scrolling, opening tweets, scrolling. I'm like into this because I'm like, what the, literally, this is so stupid, but it's also kind of funny. And so I see this reply of like this Indian guy, and he's reply. I don't know what he's replying to, but he's just in the mix of the conversation. And someone basically told him like, you don't even take showers. You don't even know what deodorant is. Like, I know you're not fucking talking. Like, basically, type thing. And people were just like laying into him, like, don't you have festivals where you throw shit at each other and like all this stuff?
It- wh- why? Where did this come
I have
from?
I have no idea. And I'm like, what year is it? Like, this does not feel like 2024. Like, what happened to inclusivity? Like, what happened to like tolerating each other and shit? Like, literally, what the fuck happened? Because now we're just sitting here like making fun of each other
We're
and just like
literally like,
stereotyping, just
uh,
making fun of each other, like cultural superiority. Like, what is going on? This is not
we've
real.
we've regressed. We've
Yes.
we've taken a look at progress and said, nah, that ain't for me.
Nah, we're
Anyways,
good on that.
they
And that
and like
leaves me in. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was here to say, and it's like I actually forgot what I was gonna say. I'm not gonna lie to you. I had a joke, I had a punchline, and it just it's gone. God
I'm
said, no,
sorry.
that's
I feel
too
like
funny for you. You
that's
you
my
can't
fault.
say that. No, no, it's not.
That's my fault.
It's between me and God.
Your There you go. Your line about that, like we've regressed, literally brings me into my next topic. Once again, surface level type thing of fat phobia. I feel like there's been so much fat phobia on my social media recently. And I was telling you this earlier that I feel like we went through this like cycle of like, and I just want to preface this by saying I never personally felt this way. I just feel like this is generally how how society viewed fat people. And it was like, we hate fat people. And then it was like, okay, slow build of like tolerance over time, more inclusive, body positivity, blah, 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 whatever, whatever. And like now it's like back to like, we hate fat people again. Like, and I don't know what the fuck happened. Like, what happened like between like, I thought we were growing tolerance. I thought we were body positivity, you know? And now it's just like back to like hating people that are fat. Like, I don't understand. I don't get it.
you're right. But do you remember sorry, do you remember this YouTuber got in trouble for making a video called Dear Fat People?
Who was it? I remember that, but I forgot who it was. Was it Trisha Paytas?
Nicole Arbor, I think. She
Oh.
I never saw her videos, but she was dating another YouTuber that I was watching at the time, and she beat him.
Mm. Oh.
It's not funny.
Wait, is she the one that had like blue hair? Like were they kind of like an emo couple?
Mm-mm. She
Okay,
was
I'm thinking
blonde.
of someone else. Okay, I'm thinking of someone else then.
She
But
was not a good person.
oh, okay. I've literally
But
never heard of her before.
no, my
Do
bad.
you remember who she was dating?
Matthew Santaro.
No, I don't know who that is.
He did a lot of top 10 videos.
Oh, okay.
It was not. It was. I was making like a joke, but the joke was domestic violence and fat shaming.
The punchline was she hated fat people and she beat her boyfriend. That was the punchline. But here's my thing. Here's my take. I thought we loved thick bitches. Like what happened? You know what I mean? And like I'm not trying to be funny when I say that. Literally like what happened? Like everyone wanted to get surgery to be like thick as hell and like just be thicky, and then people who naturally had that were being shamed for it or are being shamed for it, and then the people that were like, what is the word, like not praise necessarily, but like they got praise, I guess, for their body type and like because they had a big butt, because they were thick, and now they're all skinny and they don't have like any meat on their bones, and I'm like, what happened? Like literally regression, like so much regression, and it happened like so fast. And you know when I think it happened? I think it happened after Kim Kardashian got her butt implants taken out or whatever the fuck she had going on back there, because now she's skinny as hell. And low key, so is Kylie.
You know what this reminds? Okay, hold on. I have to get it for you. I have to get it for you. But there was this theory. It's not my theory, but like a cycle of it where it was like boom and bust. Uh, the boom and bust cycle of like butts and bust. I came up with that. That was a paraphrase, but like that hits so
I thought
hard.
that's what I thought that's what you were trying to say originally when you said boobs and bust, and I was like, are you trying to say butt and bust? But you figured it out. You figured it
I
out.
It was the idea of like skinny is in right now, and then like in a
Yeah.
couple years, fat will be in, or not fat, but like
Yeah.
it'll be
Thick.
in again.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll be in again.
Thick. Yeah. And I just feel like that's number one, impossible to keep up with, you know? Like it's literally impossible to keep up with. Yet we fall into that trap so much. Literally so much. Like just a couple years ago we all wanted to be thick and have a fat ass. And now we all want to be skinny and be viewed as like fucking supermodel type shit. Like, and I'm just like, what happened? Like, literally, what happened? And like I said, it's impossible to keep up with. I'm not gonna sit here and feel bad about myself because I didn't have a fat ass when fat asses are in, and now I have a fat ass, but now fat asses don't fit in. I'm just like, I can't keep up with that, and I refuse to keep up with that. Like, that sounds exhausting, especially for women. I feel like this doesn't necessarily pertain to men too much, but definitely as a woman.
I understand conceptually. I don't understand woman. Like I'm not a woman, but I it's like I think because it's ultimately like just trends at the end of the day. As long as like you're like true to yourself. Like it's cliche, but I
No, it's
knocked on
real, and
wood,
that's
but
no,
like
it's real as fuck because that's what we're gonna be talking about today. Like that's literally what we're talking about is what you just said. Like just be true to yourself. Like that's literally it. Like you can't keep up with the trends. And I feel like there is like a certain, and I'm not a male, so I can't necessarily speak to this experience, but I do feel like there is a certain stigma around those same type of things like in the male community as are in the female community, but it's just like a little different, you know? Like I feel like as a man, like you get looked down on if you're too skinny. But then like Nick has a dad bod, you know, which I love his dad bod, but like people will also like look down on him because like he's 24 with a dad bod. You know what I mean? But then, like I said, vice versa, men like get looked down upon for being like too skinny. So it's like you have to like find this happy medium, but then that's always like changing. You know what I mean? Because just a couple years ago, dad bods are cool and like dad bods were like the thing, you know, whatever, whatever. But like, I don't, I wouldn't expect being in a relationship with a man. I wouldn't expect him to like constantly be conforming himself to what is cool at the time. You know what I mean?
No, I get that 100%. I think as I think I think the thing that protects us is ultimately the patriarchy because like we're not as commodified when it comes to like that. I mean like
Yeah.
w- we are a little bit, but like that's like not it's not as it's it's more of a ooh, this might actually be like controversial, but like it's more of a competition rather than like it's a different exercise of power. It's
Yeah.
um it's ultimately like men's fault, but like in a way that it's like I don't know where I was going with that. It's
No, I feel like I do understand what you're saying because like you do have like it was set up by men already, but then within that you have people like Andrew Tate or whatever who I feel like wants his brand to be male empowerment, but I don't think it is male empowerment. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I really don't think it is. I think it's about male superiority and making men feel like they are superior to like other people around them, and I don't think it's about empowering men to be good people. You know what I mean? And so I get that completely because it's like, well, who set that up? Men. You know? So I definitely like understand where you're going with that. And like I said, the our overarching theme is that all of the things that we've talked about thus far, the CEO assassinator, the woman that had sex with 100 people in one day, the race war on Twitter, the fat phobia, and I didn't even mention this at first, but like fat phobia on top of eating disorder Twitter, which comes up on my Twitter so much, I don't know why. And it's just like people who literally look like they're about to die because they don't eat anything. And like just seeing like this so much range of surface shit that does not matter. And feel like I feel like I'm getting it like from, you know, so many outlets, you know? Like just from how our generation like consumes media, I feel like I get it from all of the outlets, all of those things, and they all, I feel like in my opinion, they all have that overarching theme of like surface level, at the end of the day it's about what you look like type thing. You know what I mean? And I think it's affecting us. I think it is affecting us because I feel like there's the people that I'm talking about are far fetched. You know, I don't know these people. I don't know their experiences and stuff, but I feel like it trickles down. And even the people that I feel like I'm close to and the people that I know, I feel like I see those things being fed into them and I see it in how they express themselves. Does that make sense?
hmm
And so that's how I know like it's truly a thing that's happening and it's not just something that's happening in my head. Like I see it in a generation of people that like I know and that I'm close to. And I try to distance myself from people whose like values don't line up with mine, but I feel like, you know, it's hard to when my generation is all being fed the same thing and it's hard to divert from those ideas.
That's real as fuck. It's
Yeah.
I don't want to say like I imagine it's like alienating. Like 'cause I don't imagine like I it's alienating because I feel like and this is me being a United States citizen with no ill intention towards my own government. But a lot of it comes from like I feel capitalism, where
Oh
it's like
yeah.
because these things are commodified, and it's like
Oh yeah.
and
Mhm.
it's frustrating to like see all of or like see a very common factor like exist and like not deal with it like directly. And I mean, Luigi tried,
Yeah,
but
that's true. No, but
uh,
like you're completely right because that even like just goes back to what we were saying literally at the beginning of this season, which is that like it's a revenue machine. All of it. It is, you know? And whatever's being pushed to us is either A trying to sell us something or B trying to make us feel bad about ourselves enough to buy something.
literally,
And so it's all just like feeding like the same monster, you know? And then the minute you decide like I don't want to live this way anymore, it does become alienating because you are still surrounded by so many people that have not made that decision yet and have not decided I'm going to value the things that are true to myself and not what I'm being told to value. And that is a hard thing to do. Like, I'm not saying that that's like, oh, why isn't everyone doing this, you know? Because it's a very hard thing to do when it feels like everything that you're being fed it's like I said, like it's like you have to go against like everything you're being fed, you know, and truly know and decide for yourself that this doesn't align with what I value and what I want for myself.
I completely like that's like the realest shit ever. Like that's like Loki. That's like I guess that's like look at what Ohio taught me was like
Mm,
just like this. I don't want to like get like personal or sentimental or whatever, but like
yeah,
it wasn't until like I spent like like days by myself where it was like okay,
yeah,
and like I realized that like a lot of what I value is either the complete opposite or in some way dissonant, like abrasive against like the things that I've always been. Like
mm-hmm,
who I am and what I value don't align in like the most like I would say surprising things. Because
mm-hmm,
like for me, like for example, like I recently started like getting incredibly intense into like my like self-care routine, like my daily like
mm-hmm,
I'm in the mirror hours like picking and prodding and like
mm-hmm,
applying and like spraying and stuff. And it's like where
mm-hmm,
did this like newfound like neurotic grooming come from? And it was like
mm-hmm,
a newfound, I guess, like I felt like really like out of control of my own like identity. And it was really like
mm-hmm,
where do I where do I begin to find the harmony between like who I am and what I want to be? And like, because like,
mm-hmm,
what is the difference really? Like,
mm-hmm,
if there is a difference, then can I truly say that like I am connected to and love myself? Like,
mm-hmm,
I felt like I couldn't, so it was really just like it and it hurts and it hurts. There's so much like not pain, but like this like feeling of like almost self-destruction. Like for me, I felt it almost as if like cutting my stomach open. It was like,
mm-hmm,
what's what am I made of, and like why don't I know? I guess.
mm-hmm. I think
Espe-
that like I can actually like relate to that a little bit. And like obviously I've never had to like move to a different state and like change my life and be like completely isolated like that. But I feel like when like right before and then during and then a little bit after of like the peak of COVID, I felt that way. that I feel like I had no control over like what was happening and who I was and how I presented myself because it didn't matter in a world that had stopped, you know? And so I felt the same way too, that I was like intensely like so involved with, like you said, like those self-care regimen things, and spent hours at a time doing my hair and doing my makeup and picking out an outfit. And like I thought that that's what made me happy, but I feel like that gave me the control that I felt I needed at that time. And it's funny because in my adult life, I try to recreate that, but I don't feel like those things make me happy. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like I do have control over who I am now, and I didn't have that control before, like at that time. And so, like, I try to recreate that as an adult, but it doesn't like fulfill me in the same way that it did at that time. And it kind of like, once I realized that it wasn't going to fulfill me in the same way anymore, I went through like this, like in my adult life, I went through like this, um, like, okay, well, what am I going to do now? You know, because the thing that I thought would fulfill me, it doesn't fulfill me anymore. So, what do I do about it? And it was really hard because I was working full time and we switched apartments. Like we've been living together for almost 3 years, and our first apartment we only lived there for 6 months, and then we moved to this apartment. And so it was like a lot going on, and like I was supposed to be starting nursing school, but then I didn't, and then I was working full time and new apartments and pets, and like it was just like so much shit going on. And so I feel like I really didn't have the time to plan and think about like how do I become more fulfilled, you know? And I definitely think I went through like a rough patch, and I feel like I'm not necessarily out of it yet. I think I'm like still working, and I think I'm on the better end of it. But I realized in the midst of all of this that what I look like holds very little value to me. And I feel like 17 or 18-year-old me would feel completely different. I feel like she valued what she looked like so much, but I feel like it's because she felt like that was the only way to control her life and who she was, you know? And I feel like now, like it doesn't fulfill me in that way, but I think it's because now I feel much more grounded in who I am in terms of like, you know, I'm like building my own life now. So like getting all done up and doing my hair and doing my makeup and putting on a nice outfit, like it just doesn't fulfill me like the way it used to. You know what I mean? And like I said, I had this idea in my head, and it's been in my head for like a long time, and it's been years, and I feel like I'm still struggling with it because of the things that we consume. And it's that like I am not what I look like, you know, like my body, my face, like my hair, my everything, like it literally doesn't matter. And it literally like what matters the most is like what truly fulfills you. You know what I mean? And if it's what you look like, if what you look like truly fulfills you, then, you know, go for that and do that. But I feel like for me personally, I realized that that was not fulfilling for me. And I've been trying to find like new ways to be fulfilled.
Have you tried meditating?
I have, but I think I'm obviously ADHD, and maybe it's not obvious to everyone, but I definitely have ADHD, so it's really hard to sit there and like do nothing. But like I feel like what really helps me like with, I don't know. I feel like this is like more of a self-care thing and not really like a meditation thing. But like when I clean, like I'll just put on some music and like start cleaning, and I feel like that is like my unwind time. Like my brain gets a break almost. Like I don't really have to think about it. I could just like turn on the music and just like do what I'm doing, and like that's it. But
I was,
oh, go ahead.
my bad. I was thinking about that the other day. It was like active meditation.
Mhm. Yeah. I definitely think I tend to actively meditate more, especially like on ideas. Like sometimes I won't really like do anything, but I'll just kind of think about stuff. But like I'm not sitting there like eyes closed, like meditating or like anything like that. Like sometimes it's even in the car. Like I'm driving somewhere, it's a 40-minute drive, music's turned off. I'm like just sitting there thinking about something, and like that's like I'm like meditating on my ideas and my thoughts. But I feel like I think most meditation, like led meditations, usually tend to be something of like clearing your mind and focusing on your breath, you know? But I don't know. I tend to like find my meditation in letting the thoughts come and just cycling through them and spinning through them a little bit. But yeah, I just feel like it's hard to find things that are fulfilling that aren't what you look like when you are constantly surrounded with what is the beauty standard and what's your aesthetic and this new trend and like all of this stuff, you know, and it's hard to stop valuing those things when like everyone is valuing those things, and even the people in your generation and the people I tend to like becomes friends with at some point. I see that in them, and I realize like, ugh, I don't think this is gonna work, you know. But I'm very grateful because I have found friends that I feel like do align with the way that I feel.
I oh, I wrote down um something before the show that I wanted to share with
Okay.
you.
Okay.
It was the barrier between free will and fate and like just regular old cause and effect, I feel, is like the amount of self-acceptance. Like, because there are
Mhm.
choices outside of us, and then there are choices about ourselves that are outside of us.
Mhm.
Or like not choices, I guess, but like things that you had no choice in. So it's
Mhm.
like given the I guess the Venn diagram of like the powers that I guess exist outside of us
Yeah.
meet at where we like I guess do that for ourselves.
Yeah. I
That
feel
was
that.
that was part of like the I guess the identity thing, like the whole
Mhm.
like how we were talking about like desire and truth or like desire and reality.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
like the buffer
Yeah.
or I get the link, the bridge is it's not just like the passive I'm this, I'm that. It's the
Mhm.
um it's the active, okay, I'm this, so then this. I am this,
Mhm.
therefore this. And then like it's I don't want to like reduce it down to like plate spinning, but
Mhm.
it's a lot of plate spinning and a lot of those plates come with or like you can't see it. You can't see it until like some other plates are properly balanced. God,
The metaphors.
they're they sometimes they hurt coming out.
What do you mean they hurt?
Like the because it's like I feel like I am like at the end of my ability to like articulate and then it's like but like I have to if that makes sense. It's like there's like a do you know how many like there are times where like I'll just stop talking mid sentence and be like that was so much work.
Well, sometimes you just have to just to get your point across. Well, I think like kind of going back to the reality versus like the desire. I think like being surrounded by so much of um valuing like what you look like and what's your aesthetic and blah, blah, blah and what all this stuff. I think it's obviously changed our values, you know? And I think like being viewed as beautiful and like being viewed as like conventionally attractive or like being seen as wanted, like I think we've kind of warped our perspective into thinking that those are good things, and technically they are good things. Like you want to feel wanted, you want to feel beautiful, you want to feel attractive, but I don't think it matters so much that it should become our identity. That, oh, I am attractive, I am beautiful, and like that's like part of your identity, you know what I mean? Because it's not. I mean, like, I don't want to be like a party pooper or whatever, but I just feel like it's not like those are not things that are part of your identity. Like, number one, those things are subjective. Like, it's not like there's a list of people in the world of this is the most attractive and you fall right here. Like, nobody is doing that. And if you do that, and if you do that to yourself, that is a very, I feel like, in my opinion, emotionally and mentally draining life to sit there and compare yourself and be like this. I think this is where I fall between like these people. It's just like, who cares? Literally, who cares? And I'm like realizing more and more that I don't care. Like, I don't feel the need to be viewed as like beautiful or like attractive or like wanted. And like, I know like I'm gonna be married, so it's like, who cares? Like, you're about to be married, so who cares? Like, type of thing. But it's just like, no, like, I, even before me and Nick were engaged, like, I felt this way that like I don't really care what I look like anymore. Like, it's not a big deal to me. Like, I feel the same way like right now, that if I how I feel right now about myself, I would feel the same way if I got up and got ready to go out to a fucking ballroom dance and got put on a gown and looked like the fucking princess of the Netherlands. I don't know. I would feel the same exact way about myself. Like, it wouldn't change the way that I feel about myself. Like, and I feel like I realized through that, like, through sitting in my pajamas all day and not doing anything, and then like getting ready and like looking like my best or whatever, I realized that the feelings that I had about myself never changed. And so I couldn't value one more than the other, because I always felt the same. And it was that it didn't matter if I looked beautiful, because I felt beautiful all the time. It didn't matter if I felt like, if someone saw me right now, do they think I would look beautiful? My answer is I don't care. Like, that's truly my answer, because I feel like it just doesn't add value to me, Someone telling me that I'm beautiful and that I'm attractive and that they want me or whatever, it doesn't add, in my opinion and in my perspective, it doesn't make me feel more valuable. It doesn't. Because I feel like I know those things. You know what I mean? Like, I know those things already. So you telling me it doesn't change anything. You know? And I think that's why, like, getting, getting neurotic in my self-care routine and being, like, so into makeup and into hair and into outfits and all those things, like, those things don't fulfill me anymore, because I don't care about being conventionally wanted and attractive like to other people, because I feel like very, I don't know what's the word, comfortable in my skin. And it sounds cliche and stupid, but I think a lot of people don't think that way anymore. I think it's always like, when you're met with a compliment, like, I feel like two things happen generally, like, oh, thank you, that's very nice. Or like, I guess three things could happen. Oh, thank you, that's very nice. You could say thank you. You could self-deprecate and be like, oh, this whole thing, oh, blah, 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 whatever. Or you could be a bitch and be like, yeah, I know. I feel like those are generally the three things that happen, like, when you're met with a compliment, you know? And I just feel like we don't have to, I feel like the only right thing to do is just say thank you. I appreciate that. That's literally it. Like, I don't feel like there's a need to like self-deprecate or make the person feel like there's a certain, I feel like when we receive a compliment, we feel like we have to do something for the person in return because they gave us a compliment. Like, oh, thank you, I like your whatever, you know? Or even backtracking and self-deprecating because we feel bad that someone complimented us, and being like, oh, I like your sweatshirt. Oh, I've had this since middle school. I haven't washed it in months. Like, you know what I mean? Like, immediately self-deprecating because we're so uncomfortable, and it's just like, yeah. Just say thank you
No,
when
I
people compliment you. That's my rant.
agreed. Thank you. Full stop.
Because you will stop. I wasn't trying to call you out specifically.
No, I meant like full stop, like period.
Okay. I just think like it's just so much surface level things going on, and I think we need to start looking at things differently and thinking about things differently and taking time. And it truly does take time. Taking time to really decide like what you value, and it does it is it congruent with the things around you? And if it isn't, then something should change. And the answer is not yourself. The answer is the things around you, by the way, just in case you didn't know that.
Thank you. I didn't know that. I feel like I'm a particular brand of vain. Cut the
Mm-hmm.
difference at look good, feel good, do good.
Okay.
Because like I
I
don't know,
feel that.
I like to like it wasn't because like I'm not usually like pressed about my appearance, but I
Mm-hmm.
am pressed about my appearance if that makes sense. Like I'm like meticulous about it, but I'm not like usually neurotic about it. So it was like very out of balance. It like became
Yeah.
too much. It was like, but no, I just wanted to say that I am vain. I want the record to show.
Let the record show I am vain. I don't think I'm as vain as I used to be. I think I used to be a lot more vain. I don't care anymore. I really don't. And that's another reason why I think my frontal lobe is developing, because I don't care what I look like. Because I feel
I get
like
that.
most older people in my life feel the same way, that they don't really care what they look like. Like obviously, but I feel like the difference is they don't care what they look like, but they still want to be viewed as like attractive, which is so interesting because they're
No,
like, "Oh,
yeah.
I don't care." But then like the minute someone says something about them, they're like,
I think, but like for me, it was like I'm kind of understanding where I need to like go. Because like I don't even think you like realize, but like it like answered a lot of questions for me. Like the it's I was like really like out of it and then I felt like something like desperately needed to change. So like I'm making like desperate changes and I'm like scared out of my mind. Like, oh my God. Uh and then like the but like I guess it was really reassuring um your perspective a lot like kind of like is like comforting in that it's like, oh no, dude, you're just growing.
"Yeah, definitely." It's like I don't think you should have to change like necessarily like who you are, but I do think that there are certain adaptations you have to make, that are gonna like force you to change. But I think like underneath it, like who you are and like what you value, and I don't think those things should have to change. But there are situations, and I think that this is definitely one of them where you're gonna have to adapt to it, and I think that you will discover parts of yourself, new parts of yourself, and therefore discover new values and just have growth.
Real. Because I don't know,
Real
I
as
feel
hell.
real as real as hell. Oh, I feel like a regression collapsed on itself. Like moving backwards, but not being able like moving backwards as to collapse inward. Like
Mhm.
if this is like I guess I actually don't even know like how to explain it. Like if this is a wall of security and known, then this is me just like and like this is not the goal, you know? You know, move forward.
Mhm.
And it's like and I feel like I'm having an irrational reaction to myself.
Mhm.
Like parts of myself are like mixing in negative ways. And
Mhm.
it's not like a not in like a BoJack Horseman like woe is me. It's like a how did things get here? Don't panic.
Yeah, because this definitely isn't what you wanted, and now, like, you're still having to face it on top of the feelings of you're not moving forward and you feel like you're not growing, but you know subconsciously that this change is forcing you to grow. Yeah. It's very difficult, but I think something that is very interesting to me is that even when you don't feel like you're moving forward, you actually are. And so it's better to take things in stride and realize that time is going to keep going. Therefore, you will keep moving forward, even if you feel like you're not. And that's a good thing to remember because I feel like I felt that way too a while back, that I felt like I wasn't really going anywhere. But then I realized like the days were still going. And even though I felt like I wasn't going anywhere, like the days were going and time was moving forward. And like that's when I realized, like, I would deeply regret if I felt like the days would go by and I didn't appreciate them. And I don't mean like you have to like go out and be productive every single day. Like sometimes for me that just means like being in my bed all day, But like at least like acknowledging and being like present in the day and in the time and not feeling like just not having those feelings of what the fuck am I doing? Like why am I not doing this? Why am I not whatever whatever? Just like accepting and being like okay, this is what today is bringing me and I'm going to receive that and like accept that because it's going to go on regardless of how I feel. It's going to keep going.
Like you ever played those games at the arcade where like you're in a seat and you've got usually it's like you've got like a gun or something and you're in the seat like you're not moving, but you're going through in the game on like a set path and like it's taking you
Mhm.
like that?
No, not like that at all. No, like in a way that's real life, in a way that isn't a metaphor, in a way that this is actually your life and this is actually time. And I feel like sometimes you need to equate life to metaphor to understand it and to navigate it. But I think maybe that's part of why you're having like this negative clash within yourself because you're not facing it. You know what I mean? You're trying to use metaphors to navigate it and and soothe yourself in a way through these metaphors, but like sometimes it's literally just like receiving it like how it is and not trying to I don't even know if this is a word, but like metaphorize it. Like it's just sometimes it just is what it is. And like I hate that saying so much, but like, the days are gonna happen and um I feel like within myself I don't wanna go against the grain because once I do, I feel like that is what holds me back from accepting what the day brings me, you know? And um I feel like I feel like this is another cliche thing to say, but um this moment is your life. That's all it is. Like there is no what happened years ago and there is no what will happen in years. Like that your life will always be the moment that's in front of you. And it's a little scary, I think. It's a little scary, but like I just feel like life is just constantly receiving like what's being brought to you, you know? And every day is a new day that's brought to you. You're constantly moving forward. And like I said, I feel like I'm I don't want to go against the grain because then I feel like that's the once I do I'm going against like my whole philosophy of how things work.
That's something to chew my food over. I was gonna, I was trying so hard because like food for thought, chew on it, and I'm about to like, I'm bad with jokes. I'm
I
not
didn't
funny.
realize that was a joke.
Yeah,
Cause I know you're about to go eat. So I was like, oh, okay. Well, he's gonna go chew his food and think about this. Like that's what I thought. And it's food for thought. Okay. Okay, I kind of
No,
get it
like
now.
no, you know what's funny? Like, cause like you're right. Like my brother, like he was telling me like every day, he's like, bro, you're like just not funny. And I'm like,
Okay, I don't think that's true. I'm not friends with unfunny people, so
I have it on good terms that I'm funny.
of
Write it
course.
down, take note, let the
But
record show.
but I will say I don't have a good sense of humor. Because I think you're funny, and like I said, I don't like being around people that don't know how to joke and like that aren't funny. So if I am friends with you, then it's definitely because I think you're funny. Part of it is definitely because I think you're funny. But then at the same time, I'm like, I know my sense of humor is kind of trash and it's kind of bad.
Thank you.
But it's so good. Like, okay, this is a for instance. My nursing school friends don't understand it, but have you seen the memes of the cats? And they're like, scariest stories, try not to get scared. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I'll just shut up.
No,
No, because it's not funny if I explain it, but it's funny. Like the videos are actually funny, and it's just like pictures of cats, and then it's a voiceover, and it's like scariest stories. Try not to get scared. I was never scared of anything until I met the scary man, and the scary man, and the scary man wasn't scared of anyone until he met Larry. And like the whole time in the background is just pictures of cats, like just picture after picture of cats, and it's so funny. Here's another one. Ready? Um, I was jorking my peanuts until I realized my arm got blown off in a factory accident. So then I had to ask myself the horrific question: who was jorking on my peanuts? Larry. Okay, so just imagine that voiceover, but just with cats in the background, like just picked random pictures of cats.
the cats would throw me off, but like that's objectively funny. The
I'm gonna start sending them to you. And I showed them to my nursing school friends, and they were like, "Are you okay?" They were like, "Do you think this is funny?" And I was like, "Yeah." Like, what do you think? They're like, "This is weird." And I was like, "What the hell?" I'm like, "You're weird. This is hilarious."
did they not get that Larry was the one?
Jorkin on his peanuts.
Yes,
Correct. They got it, but they just didn't think it was funny. They were like,
that's
"This
on
is
them.
silly." Yeah, I'm like, this sounds like a skill issue at the end of the day. Like, this is funny. I don't really care. So now I send them to them. Whenever I see them on my feed, I'm like, you're going to get this one day. So I just send them to them. So I'm going to start doing that with you so that you can understand where I'm coming from. I send them to Nick all fucking day. It's so funny. It's so hilarious.
I will. I'll be checking because like I haven't seen. I literally haven't seen like a decent meme in. Are we in a meme drought?
No, we aren't. You just have to be on the right side of memes. Have you seen the picture of the seal? And he's like upside down looking at you, but he doesn't look like he's upside down looking at you. And then it's that Imagine Dragon song in the background, and it's like, I was lightning before the thunder, thunder, thunder. And then it's just a picture of the seal in the background.
I have not seen it.
I'm pulling it up because I have to watch it. I'm pulling it up right now. This is so fucking funny.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
I was jorking it. I suddenly remember I lost my arm in a factory accident. That's when I asked myself the scary question: who was jorking on my penis?
That's actually insane.
Hold on, I'm gonna find the thunder one because it's so funny.
I wasn't prepared for the. It was me.
Oh, wait, what?
I wasn't prepared for the. It was me.
It was me. Okay, you ready? Oh, shit. My phone. Hold on. Okay, here we go.
Bro. Bro is 90% wrinkle.
I'm trying to find the lighting so it looks better. Yeah, so yeah, that's just what I've been into recently.
Good meme.
Okay, we have to wrap this up because I know you have to go.
All right.
So, thank you guys for listening to our nonsense. I appreciate it. It's
They were there
nonsense.
for the whole
They were there for the what?
aftershock. It was like they got bonus content.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, they were. I appreciate everyone who listens, and I hope y'all enjoy our comeback episode, my birthday comeback episode. That's what I'm gonna title this. Paulie's birthday comeback episode.
All caps. 6 exclamation points.
If you're
4.
watching this, comment Paulie's comeback birthday episode. Thank
All
you.
caps. 4x. Don't forget them.
The 4 exclamation marks, okay? Like I said, just thank you guys for listening, and we appreciate y'all very much. Follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter. I guess I'll leave them like in the description or whatever. But yeah, it was fun talking to you guys, and we will see y'all next time.
Goodbye, everyone. I will see you next time.